All right, welcome to Parker County Podcast, Episode 1. I'm here with two sisters, Teahouse and Aledo. We're so excited. Are you nervous? No?
I'm okay, but
nervous. How are you?
I'm glad to be here. Thank you for allowing me to be a guest today. Parker County is home.
Oh, yeah, for me as well. So are you from Aledo, or where were you located in Parker County?
So I moved to Aledo in 1996.
Oh.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
So you've been here?
Feeling it. Oh yeah, seen a lot of changes.
Oh, yeah.
And so yeah,
So you've been in Aledo, or you've been in just a Parker County?
in Aledo.
Okay.
Aledo.
Oh,
Yes,
wow,
both
okay.
my children graduated from Aledo High School.
Nice.
And we have a lot of new families, as you know, being in Parker County. So many new families are moving in, and I always tell them that, having raised both my boys here in this very sweet little town, not so little anymore, but in this sweet town, it's precious because everybody supports everything. I know when people think about Aledo, they think about football, but it's really about everything. So when one child has a success in one thing, we celebrate that. If it's football, it's that. If it's softball, if it's cheer, if it's dance, if it's, our robotics team is amazing. Our swim team, I mean, it's incredible. So what I always tell new families coming in is that when one person has a problem, we all have a problem. And when one person has a success, we all have a success. And I think it's always been that way.
Really home.
Mm-hmm.
Aledo's home.
Absolutely.
I love that. So, I've got several questions for you, so just bear with me. I'm sorry.
And I would love to tell you that I was able to look at all of them.
Oh, no, yeah, I did send it to you.
Yet I was not.
So I know a lot of people asked, how did you get started with Two Sisters Teahouse?
Sure.
Why did you want to start into tea and get into that?
That is the number one question, because it's just not something that you see or hear a lot of. So let me think back to the exact year. I think it was 2013 or 14. Okay. I got sick. And what we found out through about a year's worth of testing and problems, and almost a year straight of consistent vertigo, which if you've ever had it, it's debilitating. To have it every single day for almost a year it's just crippling. It really is. And going to all these doctors, running tests that you just cannot believe that you're running. I'm like, what am I doing in this test? Upside down, backwards, everything to try to figure out where the disconnect was. We figured out that I had caught a virus in my ears. So in the very, very tiniest canals of the ear that don't even show up on a CAT scan,
oh my gosh,
there was a virus trapped in my ears. And this was a very pronounced, amazing doctor that was able to tell me this, but it took a long time to get in to see him. But we are blessed to have him in Fort Worth. And so anyways, he said, I don't know what to tell you. You're always going to have it. Mm-hmm. He said, it's going to be like shingles. It's always going to live in there. Jeez. It's just going to be a matter of, can you kind of keep it in remission? Right. So one of the things I had to learn to do was not be nauseous every day, because if you're on a roller coaster ride of vertigo, you're always sick to your stomach. So I had lost way too much weight, and I was just trying to be able to keep food down. So I started researching and talking to some experts up in Colorado, which is actually in the United States, kind of one of our tea mecca areas, Boulder, Colorado. It is. And we talked about specific plants, and I began to grate up every single day ginger.
Love ginger.
Ginger's delicious.
It helps a ton.
It's so great for so many things. Yes. But nausea is a huge one. Yes. And balance, believe it or not.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Nobody thinks about that, but actually it's one of those things that helps balance. And so
I did not know that.
I went about 48 hours for the first time in a year without being sick to my stomach. And so I went, okay, I can do it. So then I added chamomile to it, and I just started grating and blending, and boiling plants and just doing all of these things that I knew I had a shot of, but every time I would leave a doctor's office before that, I would walk out with all these prescriptions. And I was like, I'm not going to have a liver by the time I'm 70. I'm going to be dead because I will have shot my liver out. So I just said, I'm going to try it the holistic way. Started grading, blending, throwing all these different plant salads together and ended up with
that's
teas.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So it started somewhere, organic.
It did.
For sure.
It started actually, where I began to get the first plants to blend teas was up in the Gunnison National Forest.
That is awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
That is beautiful.
Foraging and finding and, things like, kava kava and yarrow and lavender and things that just literally grow naturally that you can just walk around with your knapsack and pick because it's United States parkland.
Oh, that is crazy.
There you go. So anybody is entitled to it. Now, you cannot pick it by the roots. You are not allowed to do that. The plant has to be able to grow back, but you can cut it.
So where do you get the leaves that you brew daily here?
So what we have come to be in the last 5 years is I have still my regular source in Colorado where we're out foraging, blending, picking, all of that kind of stuff. But we've also expanded it to be some other tea companies that have been willing to actually spend the time with me on the phone, FaceTime, where I can see what their setup and what their scenario is like. How do you grow your plants? What kind of soil do you use? Do you use pesticides? If you do, what are they? Are they what we would consider natural, pesticides like a lemon balm or a mosquito plant, citronella, anything like that? Or is it something that we don't want to put in our bodies?
Right. So many people you would not, think, but they want to know what's in there.
I want to know.
They don't.
I want to know.
People don't care. They could care less, but most of us want to know what we're drinking.
You should.
And the people who are going to care about, these unique, beautiful teas that you, got, they're going to care. So
you need to care because that's where we're at, kind of in America. Is you need to know what you're putting in your body.
100%.
I agree. And I hate to, Brittany, I'm not going to say any by name, but there was a restaurant recently where huge E. coli breakout. And bottom line is you. I don't think that it was necessarily their fault. What if it was the source they got it from? And so you have to know your sources and what they're doing. And so the sources that we use for our tea leaves specifically, we do not allow any tea leaves to come from China. And there's a reason for that. Please don't look at this as a political thing. It is not out there, people. No. What this is I don't believe in using child labor. So I know that their culture is different than ours, and I am definitely not going to step into their culture. But for us here, I do not believe in that. So we do not choose tea leaves from China. Our tea leaves come from Kenya. They come from Turkey. They come from Canada. They come from Egypt. They come from a lot of other places that the climate is acclimated to where they can grow there. Right. They do not grow in the United States.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Right. So tea leaves, are brought in from other countries, and then they are blended with plants that we all know from centuries of documentation from shamans and the indigenous tribes that actually are medicinal plants. So we have literally teas that are colon health teas and heart health teas and headache relief teas and inflammation teas and sleep teas. And I can go on. It's just, I'm telling you.
I feel like I'm getting education.
Sometimes when you come into the tea house, I think people get more than they bargain for if they get me here.
No, that is amazing because, I experienced this actually myself. My grandfather almost bled out from aspirin.
Yeah.
Too much aspirin.
Absolutely.
I realize this, or painkillers in general, it's not good. It is
That's
not
right.
Good. So if there's something natural that we can be giving people, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm actually a pharmacy tech here in Weatherford, and I take one medication a night, and that is it.
Sure.
I'm just not, if I don't have to take it, I'm not doing it.
I'm
not for it.
Let's make sure that, we're clearly not stating that you should not take medicine.
No.
We are not doing that.
No.
What we are saying is, I say it like this, whatever your religious preferences are, is I think God kind of knew what he was doing when he created these plants, and he created these plants to help us. They have been shown over so many years in so many different um, forms to help us,
Mhm.
and they work.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I've got people who come in week after week after week, year after year, that these plants work.
So you've got like, regular soup.
Yeah, we do. Sure.
Oh, that is
It's not the
too
same. The
awesome.
people who just come in because it's hot outside and they want
And
a
they
cup
want
of iced tea,
right.
or it's cold outside and they
Right.
want a hot tea latte or whatever. But there are people who come in and they go, "I've got this. I tried this tea, and it helps so much. I'm going to come back in and get more of it." Yeah, we have a lot of that.
Right. It's awesome. People are including it into their nutritional.
Mm-hmm. And I think there's a way to marry that.
Oh,
I think
I
there's
agree.
a way to marry modern medicine with holistic,
Right.
history.
I think the reason why so many people, my dad is on like 8 different medications, unfortunately, due to his heart.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think people are educated on an alternative. So
true.
If they're not educated, they're going to go and want the
That's right.
the pill.
That's right.
Because that's what we're taught. Originally.
Sure.
What is your favorite tea in Hawaii that you sell? You gotta pick one, just one.
Okay, that is probably one of the questions I should have looked at before I got here, because we have like over 50, I think, total.
My gosh. Yeah, she told me, she's like, we couldn't find.
We've got a lot. We do. So there was a tea that I had started drinking up in Colorado years ago that came out of Telluride, and I still love it. And she and I are friends, and if you ever get up to Telluride, their local little coffee shop there, you've got to stop in. But anyways, you can't miss it. It's in the middle of the ski town. But she made a tea that we called C Forever. And we called it C Forever. It was actually the letter C, like C Forever, because it's all plants on the vitamin C spectrum. So it's like taking this giant vitamin C tablet with red rooibos, which is a South African plant, and it's kind of their general wellness plant. And so you mix the rooibos with all of these vitamin C spectrum plants, and I'm telling you, it's one of the best tasting teas I've ever had. We didn't change the name. They changed the name. I don't know why. I didn't ask. None of my business. To Sunset Ridge. But then I brought it, and I tried that for a while, but it just doesn't sit with me. I think we still call it Sunset Ridge, but there are still people who come in and ask for C Forever. Mine is C Forever. It's a very tangy. It's got orange and peach and strawberry and raspberry and red rooibos, and it's tangy but earthy. I love the way it tastes.
So
it's
good.
delicious.
That sounds refreshing.
It's delicious.
Oh,
it is. I love it. Have you ever had it? Okay, you need to try it. You do. How would you feel about making a C Forever latte for all 3 of us, and letting her try it? Put some honey in it. It's out. There's a jar of it out. I think it's called Sunset Ridge on the shelf. Like I said, we don't know. I have people who come in and they're like, "We want the old peach, not the new one." And I'm like, "Well, we have 5 peaches now."
There are 2 different formulas, or
we do.
Formula has 2 different names.
So it's the same tea, but for some reason they changed the name. We changed it back. I don't know, but as far as our peaches, we literally have like 5 different types of peach. So I'm like, green peach, black peach, white peach. Which one do you want?
I love green peach.
Oh, it's so good.
One of my favorites.
Yes,
love that.
yes.
Okay, I'm gonna have it load. Just a second, a couple questions. Okay, so what's the best compliment that you have ever received from a customer who's new, and tried your tea?
Okay, that's one that I think is going to take a little bit of an answer. One of my favorite things anybody has ever said was, "I came in and got this, and it really works." And it's like, yes, it does. I promise. I wouldn't lie. It's wonderful for you. Sometimes people say things like, "I didn't know that something this good for you could taste this good." And that's, again, you're like, yes, I'm getting through to people that, it doesn't have to taste like dirt to be good for you. It's really good. And so I surprise them and I'm like, here, try this. And then I'm like, do you know that has this amount of antioxidants? And I go down the list and they're like, oh my gosh. I think the best compliment that we've ever gotten here at the Teahouse, I don't know that it so much has to do with our tea
Mhm.
as it has with how people feel when they come in here.
I will tell you, as soon as, because I saw the note on your guys' door, so I walked down to your boutique.
Uh-huh.
She's a sweetheart.
I know.
Customer service.
I know.
Is
She's
huge
precious.
to me.
Yes.
She was, just smiling. What can I do for you?
We have the
You guys
best.
are great, for
Thanks.
sure. So
And I think it's too,
it's very homey too.
That's what we want. We want people to be able to come in here, kind of forget the troubles of the world, sit back, have a cup of tea. Tea has been, for centuries, it has been a very grounding, centering moment. And we want people to be able to have that, whether they sit back in our garden or they sit here in the store or they just walk around our store and shop.
Yeah.
And people say they come in and they feel so much better having been here.
I believe it. I
Good.
do believe it. You guys have this corner. As soon as I walked in, I walked over here. I was like, this is where it's going to be.
This is the little corner.
This
I know.
is the corner.
You can kind of escape the world back
Right.
here.
It's so comforting back here.
Yes.
I do have a question. I know that's going to take
Oh,
a
no.
little bit for an answer.
Okay.
But it's a good one. It's a lot of people have asked this with other small businesses as well.
Yeah.
The economy, it's no shock that
awful.
We're seeing small businesses close left and right. It's almost like every week I see a new storefront that's closing.
Yes.
They can't afford the rent. They can't
That's
afford
right.
this or that because prices have gone up so bad.
That's right.
People are asking, what are you doing differently to keep your doors open?
Unfortunately, there's no magic answer there. Even Lola knows, my employees know, we are all trying to find ways, cut back on waste to just, kind of, I want to say like batten down the hatches. Like you'll find me working, I hate to say it, between the hours I work at home, the hours that I work outside of the store,
right,
and the hours I work in the store, you'll find me working 60 to 70 hours a week. And sometimes I just can't, go anymore. But that's a direct result of having to cut back on things like payroll. When I leave here at night, I will look at the temperature outside. If it's going to be cool, I turn off the air conditioning. Sometimes it's just little things like that all add up to one big thing. I think the main thing I would say, because here in Aledo, we have had at least 5 shut down this year.
That's heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking because I've been here a long time and they're all great at what they do.
Right.
It's not a reflection on them not being great at what they do.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
But it is a direct result. If people could, because sometimes we do have people come in who go, gosh, last time I came in here, this was this amount. I understand that. I do. And I waited a long time before. I agonized over raising a tea price a quarter, but if you trace back down the line to where the inflation is really hitting us, it's added a lot at the source, and then each person down the road, down the line, until the item gets to me, everybody is marking it up.
Right.
And so literally I'll have a dress that I ordered the same dress last year because maybe it's a classic dress that everybody loves, and it'll be $12 more this year.
Right.
Is the material the same? Yes.
Right.
Is everything all being equal and the same? Yes. I know.
It's very sad.
I know.
I've got a lot of friends, and especially with the podcast now, I've got at least, I was telling her, there's 100 to 200 plus businesses have reached out, and then I've got the ones who are they're small business owners who want to ask questions to you guys.
Sure.
They're like, what do we do? Because they're on the brink of closing.
I'm not gonna say
tough.
that
It's
we're not
really
having
tough.
a tough time too, because
Right.
we are.
Right.
We are struggling
are
like
hustling
everybody else.
day in,
We
day
are
out.
hustling till we don't know what else to do.
And that's a lot to,
Yeah.
to be said for small business owners, because you guys clock in and clock out daily, don't knowing if you're going to get paid.
Heck
you
yeah.
guys come in day in hoping you get paid.
Absolutely.
But,
You
it's
just
not
never
a
know.
guarantee, but it's
Right.
your dream. You guys are working towards it. So
Definitely.
that's awesome.
Well, and I think too, and I really believe this for Parker County. Just knowing Parker County and how it's been for all these years, I really believe everybody who chooses to be a small business owner chooses to do so because they love their community and they want to give back. It is not nobody. There is no boutique owner, there is no tea or coffee house that's going to get rich doing it. What you are going to be able to do is be a part of your community every single day. You're going to be able to make a difference in people's day. You're going to be able to lift people up. You're going to be able to do something for causes that matter to you. You're going to be able to just, make a difference every day.
It's all about connecting to the community.
Definitely.
And I will say, I was raised in Midlothian.
Okay.
And my grandfather had a couple hundred acres out there. My whole family's we're all from there. And then, we moved to Weatherford, and I have never met more people who are willing to come together than Parker County.
Absolutely.
It's, they're all one. Aledo, Weatherford.
Yes. Hudson Oaks, Willow Park, all of it.
How
sure.
involved the towns are together. And it's a beautiful thing.
It is.
Sure. So let's see. So what is your favorite thing about what you do? So what would you say is your most favorite thing to come into every day?
My favorite thing to come into every day, it's hard to choose. It is. That's a great question. So the first thing I love to do is just come in and be in the store, in the space. It just feels that good. We always pray over it, that the Holy Spirit dwells here, that the Holy Spirit is involved in everyone's life that comes in and just wraps his arms around everybody. But also, I love the tea part. So I get excited to get behind the tea counter, start heating up the water, and, start getting ready to make some teas.
Yeah.
Well, just to help people feel good, to do something good for themselves.
You'll have teas so every morning I know I stop for coffee.
Yeah.
It's a simple thing for me. So
I love coffee.
A breakfast blend?
We do. We have.
You would recommend it's caffeine?
Yeah, we have 2 teas, Sister Sunrise and Morning Mama, that are actually coffee alternative teas. Wow. So you will get the same amount of caffeine that you would get from a cup of coffee, but the difference between a tea leaf and a coffee bean is that a coffee bean will spike caffeine levels throughout the day. So how you drink a cup of coffee and you've got all this energy going, and then you just kind of crash.
Right.
So tea leaves is a steady release all day long. So you don't spike your energy level. You also don't spike your heart rate with that. And you don't spike your cortisol levels like you do with coffee. Yeah. So we have 2 coffee alternative teas that are great.
Yeah, I find myself having to go get a coffee in the morning, and then, I work at an extremely busy pharmacy. So I'm lunch break, let's go get another one.
Exactly.
So, it's not doing enough. I'm trying to.
That's right.
And then my heart's having palpitations. I just turned 30 on the 8th. I need to chill out.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Oh my gosh.
So you just want a steady release is what you want. You just want it steady to where the caffeine is there. You've got the energy level that you need, but you're not, jumping up and down in your heart rate and in your energy. Yeah, it's real.
A good thing to know. By the way, guys, I just heard that they have a cinnamon milk that I'm about to try, and I am ecstatic.
That's good.
So excited.
That's good.
Let's get more for you. I keep going back and forth to these questions.
These are harder than I thought.
Who is the most influential person that inspired your business?
Oh, no doubt my mother. So my mother was the most incredible gardener. She and my grandmother's garden was probably about 1/4 of an acre. She lived out on a lake and had this land and had about 1/4 of an acre of a vegetable garden. Every year we would preserve, we would, put things away for the winter. My mother did the same thing back in our garden, in a more, in Irving where I grew up. And, just watching the way that they were able to, we didn't have a ton of money when I was little. My mother was able to put okra and black-eyed peas and cornbread and I'm trying to think, and cucumbers and sliced tomatoes on our plate, for probably 1/4.
Right.
She fed our family, and it was amazing to see how she did that. Yeah. And it was incredibly good for us, and it was the way we should have been eating, and it was amazing. But it is. And she would love those plants as long as, she would just love them all the way through the season, and they would nourish us and provide for us. And then she would cultivate that soil back again for the next year. And she was a master gardener.
This is a very homey place, and very organic.
It was amazing, and it was amazing to watch that old process. I don't know how much of it people really see anymore, of what it is to pick the plants, to can them, to preserve them, to put them down in the cellar to where you pulled them out again, 3 months later.
My family
Yeah.
lived here, my great-grandparents, obviously they showed, my grandmother, and my grandmother then in return showed us, and that's what we did every year. We had one year, we had such a huge garden. It was like every day we had bushels.
Yes.
Me and my brother were picking, and they had pecan trees. We did shell pecans.
That matters, yes.
You picked them up, you shelled, and it was a whole process.
Absolutely.
The whole family was involved, so.
Yes.
And they had these huge, deep freezes, and they would lay the gallon bags in there.
Yes.
And we pulled them out. That's what we ate on.
That's
for the
right.
year we didn't have, canned vegetables. We just went and had
That's
pickles.
right.
We had, everything was pickled or canned.
And it's funny.
We do things or did things.
Yeah, when you said that about the plastic bags, I mean, when I was little, because I'm old, there were no plastic bags. So I remember boiling the jars.
Oh my!
You boiled the jars
My
that you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whatever. I'm good with whatever.
I remember my grandmother and teaching me how to boil the jars and taking them out of the boiling water with tongs so that they stayed sterile. And I mean, it was,
It's a process. A lot of people don't realize how important that the sterilization process is. My dad was just telling me and my sister own my sister-in-law, a baked goods business. And
oh,
we
cool.
were doing some jams. And
nice.
It's super important. We were doing a peach habanero with Parker County peaches.
Ooh,
and
yummy.
Our peach, it was jalapenos. And
nice.
You gotta do that.
Yes.
There's something called botulism.
Yes.
And I had no idea that there was such a thing. So I had to read so much on this and before I was going to give anything to the public. So it's a huge deal.
It is.
But that is awesome. I didn't,
so
awesome about you.
Yeah. And
I have not met other than a lot of people who are a lot older than I am, that have done anything with canning. A lot of people my age have no idea. I
know they have no idea. That's right. They have no idea.
Which is so sad to me because that's going to be a dying.
It already is. It already is. I think.
My dad this last year did. It was so many pounds of tomatoes. He canned
Awesome.
Tomato sauce.
Yeah.
And it's a cool thing.
Absolutely.
We could talk all day about it.
No, I'm with you.
It's a beautiful thing. I wish more people would have their own gardens.
Me too.
And do more. What is another one? Okay.
Oh, mercy.
What's the biggest challenge?
No.
I did that.
How about we say the economy?
The economy itself is.
The economy, and it's.
All I gotta say is people better get out and vote.
If they don't, they cannot complain. You just better be happy when all of your stores are closed, and that's right. Your towns are ghost towns.
Okay, did your favorite tea? Did that. Okay. Oh, what are your hours and your days of operation?
We are actually open 7 days a week.
Okay.
And so the Teahouse itself is open from 9 in the morning until we're about to be 6 at night because we'll start our holiday hours.
Okay.
So we'll be open from 9 to 6. And then 9 to 5 on Saturdays, and then 12 to 5 on Sundays.
Wow.
So Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, 9 to 5 Saturdays, 12 to 5 Sundays.
You guys really are hustling.
We are.
You're doing it.
We are. I mean,
awesome.
we're trying. I mean, you gotta.
You're doing a great job. I saw you guys have been open for quite a while.
2019.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of small businesses are opening and then closing within a year. So you guys are doing something right.
And what's interesting is this is the slowest year I've had since probably 2020. Yeah. I mean, it's just that bad.
The economy itself has got a lot to be said for that.
Agree. Agree.
The people, yeah.
You know what? I've actually had moms come in here who have, let's say, 3 or 4 kids, maybe 3 or 4 boys, whatever. And they say, they said it's really hard to have discretionary income to shop when the groceries that you buy to feed your family cost almost as much as your mortgage every month.
Oh my gosh.
What? How did that happen? Yeah.
That's awful.
Yeah.
That they wonder why, the depression rate, suicide rate is so high. People, they can't get out of a hole.
So, exactly.
They're just, it's very sad, but
exactly.
It's good to know that there are other small business owners, and I'm so excited that when I release this podcast, they're going to know that they're in the same boat.
I think it's so important.
Together. Nobody's drowning on their own.
No. And I think it's so important to know, and I have a precious little group of very, very honest boutique owners, small business owners, and we all tell each other the truth.
Right.
Of course, what do we want to say when somebody says house business? Well, fabulous. What we're saying is, you know what? This is the hardest year ever. And we're all so honest with each other, and it helps us to know that somebody else has got a paddle in our boat with us, and we've got a paddle in their boat.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What's your name? I have not
Lola. Nice
Lola.
to meet you.
Lola. We have.
Lola is the sweetest.
She is. We have the best group of girls.
Smile. She just made us some. What is it?
This is called Sunset Ridge. It is a red rooibos tea, and we made it a tea latte.
Oh,
I know, with some honey. I'm excited. I've been drinking this since probably 2010. I love this tea.
Oh, the flavor is great.
What?
Oh, that is good.
Doesn't it just feel like a hug?
Yes,
It's like a
that's
hug.
kind of like what I told her when I walked in. I was like, this place is just so homey.
Oh, good.
That should definitely make you feel good.
Well, let me just say, to be a woman, to be a mom, a wife, a sister, a friend, a neighbor, a teacher, a daughter, all of these things, we wear so many hats as women.
Yeah.
This place was really meant to be a place where women could come in, do something healthy and wonderful for themselves, while at the same time just kind of escaping all of that. You don't have to be anything for anybody here.
Right.
You can just be you, walk around, you can talk to us, you can not, it's okay, and just do something great for you.
That's beautiful. That's sweet. Okay, my last question is, are you running any specials that you would like listeners to know about?
Well, if everybody follow us on social media, Two Sisters Teahouse on Instagram and on Facebook, because every Tuesday starting November 1st, so November 1st is a Friday, but the first Tuesday after that, and every Tuesday all the way through Christmas, we have something called $20 Tuesdays. So we take a couple of maybe say we give you 2 or 3 choices of some gift items in our store, and we'll pair them together to where, let's say, maybe normally it would have been like $30 or $35, and it'll be our $20 offering for the day.
Oh, nice.
So it might be a mug and a bath bomb. It might be a mug and a tea towel, and maybe an ounce of tea. It might be.
It's perfect for the holidays.
It is a
Perfect.
great way. You've got 5 coworkers at work, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't break the bank. Everybody can do $20, and you can knock out 5 gifts for $100. And yeah, it matters.
Names today for my family for Christmas. I know it seems early, but we like
No.
to start shopping on early.
Sure.
Definitely going to be coming back with mom and relatives.
Thank
here.
you.
I love this.
Thank you.
There's a lot in here that I would buy for myself.
We have focused really hard on those $25 and under gifts this year for all of the Bunko, Kino, Mahjong, neighbor, teacher, all of those gifts that we want to give, but we can't, like I said, break the bank on, but
Absolutely.
we want people to know that we care about them. So we worked really hard to find those kinds of gifts this year.
We're going to see a lot more this year of people cutting back on Christmas. So doing deals such as
Yes,
yours are going to
yes,
a ton with people
yes.
getting their Christmas gifts
Yeah,
together.
for sure.
Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, you're so sweet. Thanks for coming in.
So excited.
You're incredible. I'm so
I
proud for you and
love
what you're
this.
doing.
I'm loving it.
I'm glad.
It's going to be so much fun.
Tell me what that means.
So we wanted to put on here what it means to shop local. So
Yes.
Ms. Christina, what does it mean to shop local?
So growing up, my dad was a city councilman, and he explained to me about keeping your money local. That's always a councilman or mayor. It is their job, and it's really all of our jobs to keep our money local. And here's why. People think it's so that the business owner can live a better life, so that they can employ people. Yes, to the employment part. Yes, we do like to pay our rent. But here's the main reason. When you shop local, the taxes that are rolled into the building that you're in, the commercial taxes, not the residential taxes that we pay on our residential households, but when you own a commercial property, they're a little bit different. And so it's not just the 8.25% sales tax, but it's also those other taxes that the owner of the building pays, or if you own your own building pays, or the renter pays rolled into their rent, right? It is those taxes that pay to fix the potholes in your road, that spread out all of the gravel and sand during ice and snowstorms, that, wait a minute, that help to repave tennis courts and build walking sidewalks and help make the parks to replace dead, trees in the park. All of this money stays local in your community. So what happens there? And again, I'm hearing my dad's voice. What happens there? Your community looks better, right? Your community functions better. People are happier. Your house value stays or improves, so that one day when you go to sell your house, that's been your savings account all these years, and you do better on your house than when you bought it. That's how to keep property values up, is by keeping your town nice. How do you keep your town nice? You shop local. There you go.
Put your money back into the system. I mean, I could not agree with you more.
That is literally how it works. So my parents lived in Irving for 60 years. They literally shopped. They could walk to their local grocery store. So they supported their local grocery store. They could walk to every place else they needed to. They were down the street from, and they did drive places too, I promise, yes. And so they supported everything local, and it kept their little district very, very nice.
Right.
And
it's just too easy. People, big box stores. I literally just read something about a small business, and
yes,
it was heartbreaking.
It can't compete.
No,
we cannot compete with Amazon, and we do have people come in our store and tell us, "I can get this cheaper on Amazon," and I get so upset. I give them the same spiel that I gave you. I'll say, "You sure can." Right. Here's why you shop local, though. Right. Now, let me also say this. The big box stores, while they do employ people, and that matters, we need jobs in our community, no doubt. Right. While big box stores do employ people, and we're grateful, and we need those jobs, they've gotten tax abatements. They don't have to pay in and do the things that us really small businesses do. So understand that a lot of times they're not putting back in. Now and I don't want to make anybody mad. I don't want to. No, they do contribute in their own way, and they are vital and they are important. But
the whole is to shop local to give back.
Absolutely.
If you shop local, naturally you're giving back.
I mean,
100%.
For the people who, let's say, maybe can't afford to shop local, or maybe let's say this year shop at all, right? They're just getting by, getting their groceries, and they may be getting some assistance with that. What you're doing when you shop local is you're making sure the town stays nice for them.
Absolutely.
Okay? You're making sure that 3 generations from now, those kids that are coming through this school district are still having a nice town, school, nice schools, nice thing. That's what you're doing. You're ensuring all of that. And so it is such an unselfish thing to do, to shop local, but we're trying to make it, all of us local shop owners are trying to make it to where if you'll just talk to us and tell us anything that you want, you should be able to get locally.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I mean, you should be able to. And if you can't get that exact product, you can get something incredibly similar. Let me just say the example. Somebody asked me to carry Stanley cups. Love me a Stanley. Yeah. I do. Love a Stanley. Here's the thing. When I reached out to Stanley and said, "Hey, I've got some customers that want to see Stanley cups in our store," they're like, "Okay, you got to buy $5,000 wholesale." $5,000 of Stanleys would almost fill this space. That's how much I had. So I can't do that. Well, no, $5,000 worth. That's what
$5,000.
Right.
Even,
it's a lot.
Imagine you got to advertise for a month to get that stuff in here.
Oh my gosh! I couldn't sell those probably in 2 years. Seriously.
That's insane.
But what I can do is I can offer swig and corksicle, and I can do those in quantities that those manufacturers allow small businesses like me to carry. And it's an almost identical product, and in some ways it might be better. Some ways Stanley might be better. So just know if we can't get the exact same thing, we're going to get something as close as we can, and it's going to be great.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. Thank you.
There we go.